The sole difference between the creations of the mortal and the post-mortem artificer is that instead of arraying them in a gross and coarse material as on earth, he would in the soul world fashion the garments of such stuff as thoughts themselves are made of. Or, to give it still clearer, each thought possesses an inherent vitality of its own, as also form, proportion, and coherence. Thus, if an engineer thinks of a locomotive, all he has to do in order to impress his thoughts on others is to give him a suit of iron, brass, and steel to wear, and lo, the world hails and triumphantly acknowledges the world of the offspring of his deathless soul. Just as soon as the man placed metallic parts where only mental ones were previously, all the people see it, feel it, know it to be an engine. That is to say, an incarnate thought of a certain engineer. Now take notice. All you who think that the combined glories of the separate sections of the great soul world are constituted of the general projections of the disembodied order, or section of the order, that compose the society around whom the sphere is seen. There are myriads of these societies, and no one belonging to Society A can enter into the sphere of Society B, notwithstanding both may belong to the same general order. True, people can visit each other there as well as anywhere else, but visitors may not be equals for all that. In each society will be found those who love the effect of birds, and just as sure as he or she is a bird of the soul, just as sure that he is a bird be born thereof, and become, to all intents and purposes, except begetting its kind, a veritable bird. Others love trees, rivers, castles, brooks, hills, dales, vales, vineyards, gardens, groves, cottages, palaces, mountains, animals, and so on, though an interminable list, and an interminable combination of what that list may contain. Whatever be the ideal of a man or community, just so will be the outsphearing thereof. Thus, Mohammed, the Orientals generally loved woman, for the sake of the sense gratification she was found capable of imparting. According with his soul was transfigured, it went directly to that section of the soul world where congregated like unto himself, and when he came back, he fired his partisans with the deepest and wildest enthusiasm ever known on earth, by telling them that the women of paradise were fairer in full moon, more lovely than the dawn, that every mother's son of the faithful should be rewarded there, for all the earthly sorrows, by absolute possessions of the moderate number of 70,000 houris. Muhammad was not a liar on the imposture. He told he believed to be truth. His houris, like the birds and beasts just spoken of, were outcreations of the sensualistic mind of the sphere into which he rode on the saddle of Al-Barak. Every man or woman mind is an empire, and the higher the position each occupies upon the plane of the Harmon head, the more extensive is the domain over which they hold imperial sway. The same laws which govern an individual also rule a community. For a man is a man only to such extent that he prophesies and represents something higher and better than the present status. The observance of law by persons in Masa may be voluntary or habitual, or not. This being understood, it is no marvel that the things resident in the general mind should be objectified therearound, as in the case of a single person, nor that in the former of the latter case. The things thought should be present as well as those who are purely symbolic and representative of the general state, the general love, the general affections and aspirations of the general mind. As this and similar light flowed into my soul, the soul involuntarily thanked the giver for such an amazing exhibit of his loving kindness and careful providence. I could now understand many things that before were quite mysterious, and amongst others, while Nellie and mine had first shown themselves to me under the guise of youth and age, it was to all the quicker win my esteem and confidence, each of which the prime elements both of friendship and love. Previous to my change, I had often tried to analyze the last sentiment or passion, as you will, as it exists among the people of the world. The result of the analysis was, love is a mixed passion. Its orbit is elliptical. Friendship is not one of foci, and lust at the other. Now, however, as my enraptured vision swept the plains of immortality, I found that the soul world, it was something more. but that its essential earthly character remained with the same middle state, or merely spiritual kingdom. With penetrating glance I swept the fields of earth, and the result was complete conviction that 95 out of 100 of that which goes on by love's tender, gentle name was a compound of three constituents: parentalism, amative desire, and a softer element, friendship. Hence sex, and what comes of it on earth, is at best both the most coarse and external expression of the great soul law, which can only fully demonstrate itself in those who are in no one respect abnormal or diseased. Sex really means more than people even remotely suspect. In the soul world it does not serve the same purposes as on earth. There, sex is of the mind. On earth it is of the body mainly. I had supposed it to be a fair fixed physical principle, and so it is, but it is also something more. For in the higher realms of human being, where everything expresses itself as it really is, and passes it to its true value, it is found that many who, as if by accident, had worn the physical characteristics of one, were really, at soul, of the opposite